Somewhere in the middle?
I really think when the tires are fresh, the bottom's going to be the fastest way around, but you'll see these guys get 2 wide pretty quick, sometimes 3 wide, but on the fresher tires, the bottom's better, but man, you got to keep that right front on the car, and hopefully you can do that long enough to stay up front.
Here we go, speed picking up. Steve Massey in the 31 on the outside, green flag, and Savali jumps to the early lead.
Yeah, he did a great job on the start, jumping out to an early lead and getting right back down to the bottom. And you'll see these guys early on trying to fight for that bottom, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if they ran 2 wide quite early in the event.
You see the 80 car right through the middle there. That's Dick Houlihan. He's in that blue and black with the yellow numerals on it. Oh, problems already. Car's getting loose. Yep, that is Pasiak in the 5. And Rocco, Keith Rocco in the 22, having some issues with his machine as well. Right front tire down on that car.
Yeah, they might have had contact early in the first couple laps here, but you touched on earlier about Dick Houlihan. I know when I was younger, just watching him in the pro stocks up at Seekonk, he was pretty much unbeatable, so it doesn't surprise me to see him up front.
Let's take a look at the replay. See if we can figure out what happened here on the racetrack. Now, keep an eye on the other 22 of Hosfeld. Right here, the white car brushes the wall and a shower of sparks.
A lot of times that causes people to check up when they see the sparks and could cause a spin, especially back in the field like that.
So getting ready for the restart. Savali still in the number 1 slot. Massey alongside. Richard Savory back behind them in the red and silver 99. There's Priest and the white 6 just in front. Back at it. This is our Magnus Racing Products onboard camera with Woody Pitcat chasing Ryan Priest. Up at the front of the field, though, it's still the 52 of Savali.
And it doesn't surprise me to see Doug Kobe in the 20 car there running up in the top 5. I mean, he runs regular on the modified tour in the 2 car and does an excellent job. And it doesn't surprise me the star-studded field that we see here at Seekonk.
Good idea. The speed these guys are carrying down into that first corner. Oh, another car around, Steve. It's the 76. Zane Ziner has spun his machine. Well, while they turn him back around, we'll go take care of some business here on Suzuki Presents Speed Sport, and we'll be back for more from Seekonk. Stay with us. Back here on Suzuki Presents Speed Sport, Ralph Shaheen, Steve Park, and Derek Pernisiglia with you from the Seekonk Speedway, Massachusetts. As Steve pointed out earlier, this track is basically a circle, so getting these cars to turn is very difficult, right, Derek?
Time now for your Oval Speed Unlimited Tech feature, and today we're talking about stagger. You hear a lot of technical terms in racing like wedge and stagger, and you wonder what that is? Well, it's basically the difference between the right rear tire of the car and the left rear tire of the car, and I'm using this cup as an example. So if you put the cup on the ground and you spin it, it's always going to spin to the smaller side, making stagger very important to get you through the corner, especially at a place like Seekonk when you're always turning left.
Steve, you got to get that stagger right tonight.
Yeah, it's really important here at the racetrack. I mean, your tire man is your best friend, and getting that stagger right keeps you turning here at Seekonk.
Savali turns the speed up in a hurry as the green flag comes out, and the 52 goes right back into the lead. And he's got a challenger coming on the outside of that 99, Steve.
Yeah, he does. Richard Savory, he's doing a great job running up on the outside, and he's got his car not only turning good, but he's getting good forward bite up off, and it won't surprise me if he don't get up alongside the 52 right here.
And you can make this outside work, can't you? There's 2 groups here for sure.
Yeah, I've seen 3. I mean, what's so great about racing here at Seekonk is that there's plenty of room to race, and if you got a good car, you can get up on the outside like Richard's doing right here and try to make a bid for the lead.
Massey trying to do the same thing on the bottom in the black. 31 with the red numerals. He's got that bottom group working well.
Yeah, and you see Doug Kobe there up on the outside. He's no stranger to these modifieds, and he's no stranger to winning races either, so I'm sure he's got his eyes set for the front.
On board here with our Pro System brakes on board, you're riding along with the race leader, James Savali. What do you like about his line?
Really, what I like about his line is his hands. Look at his hands. He is always turning left, and when they unwind the wheel is when they're trying to put a little forward bite in the car, and like Derek was saying earlier about the stagger, you use the stagger to turn the car with the gas pedal and use the steering wheel to turn the front tires to the bottom of the corner.
Savali and Savory just going at it here for the lead at Seekonk. This is a great battle amongst these tri-track modifieds as a caution comes out again. Third one of the night. And Steve, I don't see anything, so maybe it's just for debris. But while they take care of that, let's check in with Derek for a little bit about Savali's car. Derek?
Ralph, James Savali in that number 52 machine, that car won the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour Championship with Doug Kobe behind the wheel. Kobe moved on to another team, and then Wayne Darling's team that owns that 52 started to run sporadically. James Savali has been out of a ride for the last couple of years. He's trying to make his way back into modified racing, picking up a good quality ride if it came along, as he said. It looks like he's doing just that. He's leading this race right now in the number 52 machine.
A good driver and a good team have found each other.
Yeah, they sure have, and what you see here is how well he's running on the bottom of the racetrack and how much respect he's treating Richard Savory with. And when you have two good drivers and two good race cars, you put on a side-by-side battle like we've seen here tonight.
Look at Kobe and that bronze-colored, goldish number 20. He's got the outside going now.
Yeah, he's not afraid to throw it up on the outside, and I'm sure the fans will stand up on their feet to watch this because we got some really good tour regulars trying to run up front.
The Acquia onboard camera from Kobe looking back at the field. That's Houlihan back there, and as you know, he knows Seekonk very well.
Yeah, I think everybody has seen the number one with Dick Houlihan in it, running Seekonk Speedway and winning a lot of races here, so he's very familiar with this place.
You can also see how close together these guys are running with those open wheels. You have to have a lot of respect for each other to run this tight, this fast on a track like Seekonk.
You really do, and if you listen to the throttle inside these cars, when that camera goes inside the car and you hear the throttle, how much you've heard people talk about stepping on an egg on the gas pedal. They turn these cars at Seekonk with the throttle along with the steering wheel, and it's the guy that can just turn their car just enough without getting it too sideways, keep that right rear tire on the back, keep that right front tire on the front, are going to be the ones that succeed.
If it wasn't for those Nerf bars, these two would have banged wheels half a dozen times just down the straightaway. Pro Systems on board once again with Savali.
Yeah, they're banging wheels, they're banging Nerf bars, and every once in a while you see a spark. But the greatest thing that I see is the respect that they have for each other. In order to run side by side and not put anybody in jeopardy, you got to have a lot of talent. You got to have a lot of respect for this place.
You've spent a lot of time sitting inside a modified like this. With the way the seats are done, the way the bars are and everything, right? How much can you see of the guy next to you?
It's really hard with the way the seats and the headrests are set up, and I always used to tell people that you could actually feel somebody. I mean, Richard Savory, he could feel a car on the inside, and Savali can feel that he's got a car on the outside, even when you can't see them. But right now they're running so close together and side by side that I'm sure they both know that they're both there and they're only about maybe a half inch apart.
And some of that contact is just because they're racing that hard. They're not trying to take each other out. It's just incidental.
It's very incidental. I mean, the way you race these cars, these modifieds around Seekonk is, what Richard's trying to do is he's trying to get enough alongside to be able to keep Savali on the bottom, but now he's got him cleared.
Wow, Savali finally takes the lead away. We'll take a break and catch our breath. Come back to Suzuki Presents Speed Sport. Back to Suzuki Presents Speed Sport from Seekonk Speedway. Ralph Shaheen and Steve Park and Derek Bernasiglio with you tonight. Tri-Track Modifieds putting on a spectacular battle, and it's been these two all the way. James Savali in the white 52 and the red and silver number 99. That's Richard Savory. They've been going wheel to wheel for the lead.
They sure have, and boy, is it exciting. I mean, with Richard, he just shot back up on the outside of Savali again, and just to let him know that he is there and that he's going to try to race him as hard as he can. And if you notice, they're starting to pull away from the third place guy.
Who's putting their car through more stress or strain, the guy on the inside or the guy on the outside when you're racing like this?
That's easy. The guy on the outside. I mean, Richard's car has got to be so good right now just to run the outside and stay competitive and even with Savali. And just right there, did you see that? That's perfect modified racing where he just gave him a little bit of the chrome horn. He ran side by side for so long he decided, let me get back behind him and let my tires cool down and let me give him a little shot with the chrome horn and let him know I'm here.
I'll be back. I'll come after you again here in a little bit.
He's letting his tires cool down a little bit, and he'll make another run soon.
How many laps do you think it'll take for the tires to cool down enough for him to be able to mount that challenge?
Well, you see him get back down on the bottom, and I think, it'll only take 2 or 3 laps for him to figure out that right rear is cool enough to try to make another run. It's going to be really hard to pass on the inside, so you probably see him go back to the outside again.
Here he comes, and you saw Massey and Hosfeld battling over third and fourth there just a minute ago. And look at this! He did. He cooled those tires, went right around the outside.
Cooled them right off and right around the outside. I mean, just an amazing job by Richard Savory. And, don't kid yourself. I mean, Savali, he might be doing the same thing. He might be saying, we're not quite halfway yet and let my tires cool down so I have a run towards the end, too.
Riding with Savali, the Pro Systems brakes on board. Massey, meanwhile, runs back in third. What can you tell us about his car, Derek?
Steve Massey runs in the top 5 right now in that black number 31 machine. Another driver that knows how to get around this racetrack. He won an MRS race here at the Seekonk Speedway last year. He definitely knows the setup on this racetrack. He said the car feels really good when he was talking to the crew over the radio.
He's got Hosfeld right on his tail on that 22. We saw him have some issues earlier, but boy, the 22 looks good now.
Yeah, no doubt. He's making his way back up again too, and like I said, they're not quite halfway yet. So it's, these guys are really feeling what they have left for the end of the race, and who knows who's going to pit for tires and who's not. So we'll just have to see how the race develops.
Great battle back here, and kind of surprised to see Doug Kobe has slipped all the way back here. This is 6th through 9th. That's Woody Pitcat, the 42. Kobe in the 20, who we're riding with here is Pitcat, the Magnus Racing Products on board. Eric Beers is in this group, and Todd Ararumo.
Woody Pitcat's another guy that I wouldn't count him out either. He's such a smart driver on the modified tour that he's probably just buying his time, looking at how many laps are left before he makes him out to the front.
Ararumo second in the tri-track points, right behind Anthony Nocella coming into the race. Nocella, meanwhile, all the way back in 21st, so it could be a good night for Ararumo.
Yeah, it sure looks like it. I mean, he's got his car working up off the bottom of the corners pretty good, and right now he's just got to worry about Kobe.
He is in that 12, just got around the 20 of Kobe, and he's got the 3 just in front of him, who he's trying to pass now. That's Eric Beers.
Yeah, and Eric Beers having the opportunity to drive one of Lenny Bola's cars, and his son does a great job. Lenny Bola's son does a great job preparing those cars, and he's been a regular here at Seekonk too for quite some years now.
You can really hear Kobe working the gas through our Acquia onboard.
Yeah, that's what we were saying earlier. If you just listen to the throttle, how short amount of time that they're actually full throttle, that they're driving these cars with the gas pedal to get them up off the corner and get him down into the next corner. So it's a guy that really manages that gas pedal the best. It's going to be the guy that's going to save his tires for the end and make him out for the win.
That's Priest on the inside in the white 6.
He's another guy. I mean, Ryan Priest. I mean, just look at the names that are in this race. I mean, $10,000 to win brings out a lot of good competition, a lot of good drivers, and I think the people at Seekonk are watching a great modified race tonight.
Tommy Barrett in the 9 gets to the inside of Woody Pitcat, battling over 5th.
Yeah, and he looks like he's working pretty good off the bottom too. And Tommy Barrett's no stranger to these racetracks in New England. And me myself, I was kind of used to watching him run the 22 car, but I think that's a family car right now.
Suzuki Presents Speed Sport will be back for more of the tri-track modifieds from Seekonk Speedway. Stay with us. It's going to be a great finish as we approach halfway. Hey everybody, it's Ralph Shaheen. Did you know the new King quads for 2016 are already in your local Suzuki dealer? Suzuki is very excited about this year's models, and why shouldn't they be? They've been a leader in this category for some 30 years. Check out the new King Quad 400 ASI Camo. This model comes with a Quadmatic transmission. You can get it in 2- and 4-wheel drive. It comes packed with great looks, aggressive styling, and tremendous performance. And with hunting season right around the corner, I know there's two things you're looking for: performance and reliability. And Suzuki delivers on both ends. Check out the King Quad 4x4 400 ASI Camo. And with the True Timber Camo package, nobody's going to see you coming. You can see them at your local Suzuki dealer or online at SuzukiCycles.com. Suzuki presents Speed Sport back with the Tri-Track Open Modified Series presented by Seekonk Grand Prix. Chuck Hosfeld having a pretty good run in the 22. What's his story, Derek?
And it's a real strong run for the Jerry Gradle Motorsports number 22 of Chuck Hosfeld. If that name sounds familiar, he actually drove in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series years ago for Jack Roush. He returned to his roots in the modifieds, won multiple championships in the ROC Modified Tour in upstate New York. He came down for this Tri-Track Open Modified Series race tonight. He's doing a fine job. He's in the top 5.
You're watching Steve Massey in the 31. Hosfeld putting the pressure on him. Just a variety of different modified tours that run throughout the Northeast.
Yeah, there is a variety, and you can see right here with Tommy Barrett even creeping up on these guys. It looks like Chuck Hosfeld's getting a little impatient, trying to work Steve Massey up off the bottom to get a run by. That might open up the door for Tommy Barrett too. We
are halfway through as Savory in the 99 leads, working his way through lap traffic here. 50 laps to go.
Yeah, we're past the halfway point, and you can see Richard Savory. He's just kind of on cruise control right now, but you know, just like you said, we're only halfway through this, so we got a lot of time to go and a lot of good racing left here at Seekonk.
Back here, there's that battle for third. Massey, Hosfeld, even Tommy Barrett in this. Barrett's in the 9. He's going to get around the inside of Hosfeld. That'll actually put him up to 4th.
Yeah, that put him up to 4th, and he did a great job. He just kept patient on the bottom of the racetrack. And if you start looking at the front tires of some of these cars, as they get in the apex of the corner, you can see how much the front tires are turned. And those are the guys that are looking either for a caution, maybe an opportunity to get tires, or an adjustment on their car.
And the battle is on for third. Massey and Barrett. Barrett to the inside.
And he's no stranger to these short tracks. I mean, he's not afraid to muscle his way by, and you know, Tommy Barrett's doing a masterful job getting up off these corners too.
And with a little over 40 or so laps to go, Barrett puts himself in 3rd and in great position to make a run towards the front. Behind him, Massey now in 4th, Hosfeld. Then you got Woody Pitkat running in 6th, and Ararumo is now up to 7th in car number 12.
Yeah, and we talked about Woody Pitkat earlier, and it doesn't surprise me as time goes by. We're looking at Steve Massey running, trying to keep his car in the bottom of the racetrack, but Woody Pitkat's making his way to the front.
Pitkat going to move to the outside here in that 42. See if he can get around Hosfeld on the higher side. Traffic in front, too. They might use that to their advantage.
Well, I think you can use them as a pick here, too, because a lot of times you don't know if the traffic is going to go to the bottom or go to the top. So, if you have the top working, you're hoping some of these lap cars are able to get around the outside and not jam up some of the guys on the bottom.
Ararumo looks like he's going to follow him up there, but Hosfeld slides up to block him, and Ararumo will pull the 12 down to the bottom and then gets stuck behind some of that slower traffic you were talking about.
Yeah, and it looks like he's trying to use that right front to work his way up to get around that lap car, but unfortunately, he's not able to, and he gets right back behind Hosfeld to try to run past these lap cars on the outside.
Well, and as these laps wind down, that chrome horn starts to get to be a little bit more of your friend, doesn't it? You got to root that guy out of your way.
Yeah, it sure does, especially with the lap traffic. That's what makes modified racing so exciting, is that these guys are not afraid to use the chrome horn, and if your car's a little bit tight and you roll up on the outside of a lap car, you got to kind of check it up a little bit more in the middle of the corner, and that's when you get a little bit of the chrome horn from behind.
Sounds like you know a little bit of what you're talking about. Used it yourself a few times, Mark?
I used it up myself a few times, and we used to carry, my crew chief always told me we had a spare in the truck.
There you go. Well, some spares are going to be needed now because the caution is back out. Dwight Jarvis has spun the 28. Fortunately, it doesn't look his crew chief is going to have too much work to do. Looks like not much damage since he just spun it to the inside.
Yeah, all the tires are up, and we're not sure if he got into something or somebody got into him, but he's getting right back out in front of the pace car there, so he's in good shape.
While he gets going again, let's check in with Chris Pasteryak. The former modified champion is running ninth and has a new piece of safety equipment. Here's Derek.
We see you wearing the new Bell Carbon Series helmet. Tell us how you like it.
I love the new Bell helmet. It's great. It's the only thing I changed this winter, and all of a sudden I'm winning races again.
What's some of the big differences you notice between wearing this Bell Carbon helmet with some of the other helmets you've worn?
I've been a lifetime Simpson wearer, and this winter, Bobby Seymour got me a Bell helmet, and the biggest thing is it's so much lighter and so much more comfortable.
Does it help you in the race car?
Well, anytime you can help the driver out, it's got to help the car.
Taking that weight off your head is huge, isn't it, Steve?
Yeah, it really is. And sometimes you had a favorite helmet or a favorite pair of shoes that you won races with, so you try to stick with what works.
Back with you with more Suzuki Presents Speed Sport tonight from Seekonk Speedway in Seekonk, Massachusetts. The Seekonk Grand Prix presenting Tri-Track Modifieds. Good crowd on hand as usual here at Seekonk. Always a very popular place with fans.
Yeah, it's a very popular place, and you can see the guys coming in the pits right now under this caution, so it's going to make it very interesting.
Here's Derek.
Ralph, it is absolute craziness down here on pit road. Over half of the field came in for adjustments. This is a handling racetrack, and if you're out to lunch, it is the worst feeling in the world. You can't get around because you're constantly turning. All the teams are down here right now. Some are taking on new tires, some are taking air pressure adjustments, some are getting a spring rubber, others are making sway bar adjustments. It is craziness, and if you look down at the far end of the pit, it's a huge traffic jam. All of these drivers are fighting to get out of the pits and back out onto the track.
Guys are giving up a lot of track position because they know they've got to make adjustments to be there at the end of this one.
They are, but you know, they feel that in the position they were on the racetrack that it was important for them to come in and make a change if they were going to try to win this race. So we'll see how they make out coming from the back.
Savory stays out, Pitcat stays out. They're going to go for it with what they got.
Yeah, with Savali on the outside, I mean, these guys got older tires, but let's see what they do with some of these guys coming back up with new tires.
These two have been battling this way all night long, and that battle is going to continue.
Yeah, and it does continue. You can see these guys on the older tires. When they get cold, they start moving around, and racing here at night, these tires cool off, and it takes a lap or two for them to get back up to temperature again.
Savali's Pro Systems onboard camera.
And you can hear him working the throttle again, too, and trying to get up on the back of Richard Savory and give him a bid for the lead. And right now, Richard's doing a great job kind of keeping his car down on the bottom and getting good bite up off.
Here they come once again. And some pretty good fights going on deeper in the field, too, like this one here. Andy Jankowiak, Patrick Emmerling, and Chuck Hosfeld all fighting over sixth.
Yeah, and they're fighting over real estate. See, we were talking about going 3 wide, and these guys are thinking about it with Chuck Hosfeld on the bottom. I mean, if these guys are not careful, they're going to get snuck by on the bottom, too, which will force them even higher on the racetrack.
Jankowiak's in the 27, Emmerling's in the 07. Oh, caution out. Tommy Barrett, Zane Ziner, all involved in this one. Oh, and Kobe.
Wow.
Doug Kobe smoking heavily. He was back in 18th.
Yeah, and it's, you know, like we were talking about earlier, you know, these guys elect to come in the pits and get tires and try to come up through the field. They lose their track position and then might have got involved in somebody else's mayhem.
Obviously, a lot of sparks off of Barrett's car. He's headed for the pits. Let's see if we can figure out what happened here, Steve.
You can see in slow-mo, wow, it looked like the 9 car got out of shape.
What if he got turned? Because he turned right in a hurry, didn't he?
Yeah, he sure did. That left rear tire is up. Usually when they have a left rear tire going down, it makes the cars turn right like that. But you can see how he was sideways right there and maybe overcorrected. Because it doesn't look like he was hit from behind. He got overcorrected right in the front of the field. And man, it just took out a lot of good cars.
See Acquia on board from Kobe. That's where he got hit.
Look at all that fluid on the racetrack too, and it looked like he jumped on the brakes to check up and must have got into the back of the guy in front of him and got the radiator. You can see the fluid on the racetrack.
Which means a lot of work for the crew as they get in there to clean up this mess. Well, Kobe's climbed out of the car. Derek's there for an interview.
Well, you can see the steam coming out of the front end of the number 20 of Doug Kobe's machine. The front end is all pushed in. We're over here with the driver right now. He's out of the car, a little bit upset. Doug, can you tell us what happened? It looked like everyone jammed up going into one.
Yeah, just hard racing after the pit stop. You know, everybody's trying to get every spot they can, and the guys on the outside really weren't moving, so I knew they were going to start panicking sooner or later, and I guess somebody might have tried to cut down a little bit to pinch somebody on the bottom, got turned around, and I think I got underneath the back of the 76 and just put a hole in the radiator. So just a bad night, you know, but we'll be back for some more tri-track racing later this season, and hopefully we'll have a better run than this.
It's an early night for the two-time NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour champ, guys.
Yeah, he's had a couple of frustrating weekends this year. A really rough week up at New Hampshire earlier this year, running on the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. Knocked out of both races up there. More cars visiting the pits, including Jeff Rocco. See him go. There goes Massey back out. Well, let's get the story on Tommy Barrett's car. They're still working on his number 9. Derek has that report.
Well, work continues on the number 9 of Tommy Barrett Jr. The crew going to work. They're taking some of the sheet metal out of the front end of the race car. He did make contact out there. You can see the front end bumper pushed in. They did have a toe-in adjustment that they had to make on the car. Luckily, they did not break the radiator, so they can make their way back out onto the track.
Well, this is the Seekonk Speedway, and right next door is the Seekonk Grand Prix, tonight's presenting sponsor. It opened in 1989 by Wayne Darling and NASCAR Sprint Cup Series driver Ken Schrader. The Seekonk Grand Prix is family fun on 10 acres of land with 4 go-kart tracks, including a slick track, miniature golf, bumper cars, and the 52. And Savory and Savali are back at it.
They've been at it all night long. I mean, just putting on a driving clinic tonight here at Seekonk, and it's been really impressive watching these two guys, how close they can run together and how much respect they have for each other.
Now, Woody Pitcat in that 42 is right there. Maybe he's got something to say about this.
Remember, we were talking earlier about Woody. He's been racing these modifieds a long time, and he's a pretty cool cat. So he's probably been pacing himself a little bit and saving himself for a little bit of a run at the end with these two guys.
Oh, big pile up here. Ryan Priest is in the middle of this one. Massey's in there. Oh, he sure is in the 9. Brandon Dion in the 04. And Eric Beers in the 3.
I mean, Tommy Barrett had such a good race going on, and it just seems like it just spiraled downhill after he pitted for tires. And, you know, you get back in the pack and you try to get yourself back up again. And here it is again. You can see maybe just a little bit of a love tap. Everybody checking up and getting involved with Tommy Barrett and Ryan Priest. A lot of good cars right there, too, and Massey just stuck behind him, too.
Yeah, I think they're actually stuck together, too, the 31 and the 9.
You can see right here as they're fighting for real estate down on the bottom of the racetrack and just jump wheels and cause a good 5-6 car pileup with some good cars in it.
Well, the crews are going to have to get out there and try to get those two separated. The 9 and the 31 actually locked together. You can see them trying to pull the two cars apart.
Yeah, they are. It looks like they just got jammed up in the Nerf bars, and these Nerf bars does a good job protecting these wheels and these cars from running into each other, but sometimes front bumpers get tangled up in Nerf bars.
We'll be right back. Excited to bring you the Tri-Track Open Modifieds for the first time here on Suzuki Presents Speed Sport. Our first look at their racing action from Seekonk Speedway, all part of the Boston Louis Seymour Memorial Weekend here at Seekonk, and this has been some spectacular racing.
Yeah, it's been real good, and right here on the restart, Richard Savory jumped back out in the front again to show his dominance, and Savali's not far behind.
How about Woody Pickett?
Woody Pickett with a strong run in that number 42 Peter Colessa machine. He's a regular on the NASCAR Whelen Southern Modified Tour, driving his familiar number 88 ride. But he also races weekly at the Stafford Motor Speedway, the Thompson Speedway, and on the Tri-Track Open Modified Racing Series. He's in a modified at least 3 days a week. He's got a lot of laps underneath him, and he also won the Spring Sizzler at Stafford earlier this year for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour.
Laps, laps, laps. There's nothing like it.
Yeah, the more laps these guys run, the better they are. I mean, it's game time right now. You know, they made their pit stops, and now they're just focusing on trying to get their cars to the front and keep them in one piece.
Good battle here, 4 through 6. Anarumo, Beers, Pasteryak, all fighting it out in this group. Beers in the 3. And we're now 20 laps to go.
Yeah, it's showtime. It's game time right now. These guys got their faces on, and they got their eyes glued on their front tires and trying to hope they have what they need to keep the car turning and keep the bite up off the corners to try to get to the front.
Chris Pasteryak in the number 5. He's got Hosfeld, Hirschman, and Emmerling. That's 6th through 9th in this group here.
Yeah, and you can see these guys. I mean, you could be in 9th place, and these guys are pushing each other around, as you can see right there. I mean, there's no holding back anymore. Now it's time to go to the front and try to catch Richard. He's doing a great job right now.
Anarumo in the 12, Beers in the 3. That's 4th and 5th.
Yeah, we're closing in on about 10 laps to go, and Richard Savory and James Savali are still the guys that are out front that these guys are chasing.
These two nose to tail a little bit further back. There you see, yep, Matt Hirschman having a pretty good run in the 50.
We haven't talked about Matt Hirschman all night either, and he's a guy that's no stranger to these short tracks.
And here's our leaders. Savory and Savali with just about 10 laps to go next time by.
Yeah, and it looks like Richard's doing a good job trying to stretch things out.
Pro System brakes on board with Savali, trying to figure out where he's going to get back around Savory. Which way would you go, inside or outside?
Well, right now, late in the race, I mean, the inside is a place that you might want to be looking if the guy can't get his car turned to the bottom, but Richard Savory's got his car turning good, so I think the only shot he's going to have is to get a run up on the outside.
Or maybe the shot's going to be with the Chrome Horn if Savali can catch him.
Or he can knock him to the outside. So just watch these guys. Watch their hands and watch how they finesse the gas pedal. Listen to the engine, and you can see how hard these guys are working here tonight.
Emmerling, Hirschman, all in this group here. 8th and 9th. Hirschman in the 50. Emmerling's in that 07.
And Chris Pasteryak, he's still doing a good job. I mean, he's trying to hold on to his position right now. You can see his front tires aren't turning as good as they were, and these guys are really trying to make a bid on the inside.
Well, a 100-lap race on a tight oval like this, that's where that carbon fiber helmet's going to come into play. A lot easier on the head, isn't it?
Yeah, he's having a hard time holding his head up right now, especially with these guys pushing him from behind. You got Chucky Hosfeld and Matt Hirschman dueling for position, trying to get around the 5 car.
All 6th through 10th with 5 to go. Less than that now.
Yeah, with 5 to go, these guys are just looking to gain 1 or 2 spots. I mean, they're probably not going to win the race from 5th right now, but with Richard Savory and Savali battling out for the lead, it's going to make a great finish.
2 to go now. Coming around, they're going to see the white flag. Here we go, last lap. And it looks like Savory's got a pretty healthy lead now. Savali a couple of car lengths back. This is the furthest they've been separated all day. Savory, the last couple of corners to the checkered flag. Savory will win it here tonight. The 100-lap, $10,000 to win. Tri-Track Open Modifieds here at Seekonk goes to Richard Savory. We'll be back to talk to the winner after this on Suzuki Presents Speed Sport. Suzuki Presents Speed Sport has been brought to you by Suzuki. Visit SuzukiCycles.com for Suzuki's full lineup of motorcycles.